Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Available as part of the request.
Okay.
Or even in the request, when you're transferring the request, you can set attributes. A parameter is just a string. It's a string, but an attribute, it can be any object. Again, just suppose, and we can put an, and then user object also in the as an attribute.
Okay.
So,
Is that when you say request or get parameter, that is the object, right? Request is an object there.
yes, request is an object.
Okay. And session is.
Remember, yesterday we were discussing about the implicit object. Did you attend yesterday's class?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So in yesterday's class, yes, we were discussing about the implicit objects in JSP. All these objects like request session, these are objects and these are implicit objects, meaning we don't create them in our code, but still they are available.
Yeah.
The request and the session out, all these objects are implicit objects of the JSP.
Okay.
Can we talk about the stat attribute that we use for transferring information from one page to another page? Is that a right definition?
Sorry?
For this, if somebody says, like, what is the stat attribute, can we just tell them it is just transferring the...
No, see, we set some attributes if we want to retrieve it in future. In future, in the sense, in the flow, if you want to get those get that information in a different page, we set it as an attribute, right? Especially when we put it in a session, we want it to be available in the further pages, right? Upon further navigation, then we put it in a session. Even in this scenario, we want to display this information in the next page, right? So that is the reason we are putting it in the session, so that we could get this information from this session at any later point of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, folks, this is one flow. I'm just starting because someone has asked some doubt and I jumped in between to that.
Okay. What did you give as the scope for this session?
Sorry? Why did I give scope as session?
No. What is the scope that you have given for this session? Like.
No, the session is available. I'm not giving any scope to it.
Okay.
I don't have any variable. I'm giving session. I'm directly putting that information in the session.
Okay.
See, you can declare some variables with the session scope, meaning that they are available for the session. Or you can put some session attributes into the session object.
Oh, okay.
We fetch it from the session object at a later point of time.
Okay. As long as the page is being like data is being fed into, and the session object gets created, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the flow. Folks, you understand this flow and no doubts in this before I move on to next. So, and that is to, I just have a page. It's just normal HTML page. Even from the HTML page, we can send a request to JSP, right? We just have a form. We have three variables in it. Not three variables. It's rendering three text boxes for the user name and email and age, right? So let's say we are doing this here. You know, let's say we're doing in a HTML page. Yeah. Right? This is the page that we are just viewing it in the browser, right? So what's happening in this page? Could someone explain me what we are trying to do in this page?
Yeah, we are inputting the email and all that in a form and submitting it.
Yes. So what happens when we submit it? It goes to the specific JSP, right?
Yeah.
Because the action is SaveName.js. Yes. So let's say shuffle and specify some email. So what happens when I click on submit? What happens when I click on submit? It goes to SaveName.js. Right? So what is there in SaveName.js? We are creating an object of this user data class, and we are setting all the properties to the object, and that object has a session scope. And when I click on submit, it goes to save name, and we just have a link with continue, and when I click on it, it goes to the next page 1.js. Right? So in the next page 1.js, what are we doing? Whatever the values that we have entered, we just, rendering it by getting from the user object and by using this expression syntax. We are getting the submit button. Ravi, we have the input type is equal to submit. When you have type is equal to submit, when you say input type is equal to submit, it renders a button. When you say input type is equal to text, it renders a text box. That's how we are getting a button for submit. In this, each tag subsequent, for button with the HTML, we say input type is equal to submit, or type is equal to button, we get button. We get a button, submit button that's displayed in the screen.
If you want to give some other name to that button?
Yes, I think that's what we're doing here in the input C. And that submit. Okay, observe this here. So if you remember, when we are viewing this page, we get it. We don't get submit. We can have anything else. Why we give it that? It's not submit, right? Submit. That's what I have given as the value here. Are you clear? Any doubts in this? See, we just saying anything, but with a different approach that we're putting it in session object. Here we are using a Java bean. A Java object. We're creating object of a specific class that's already declared here. That's already declared here. And we're setting.
Are we going to dig deeper into this bean part and everything in later classes?
So what's your doubt?
No. Like it's not something related to this. I'm just like I didn't catch that part yesterday.
No, we haven't discussed. That's supposed to be discussed in today's example. Like I have straight away jumped to this example because someone was asking about the scope. What I thought was I'll explain scope. The JSP code, and I thought I'll show you all these examples.
Oh, okay.
Because I think yesterday we haven't seen that examples, right? So we just discussed. So I thought once we complete code, we can see all these examples and then move ahead.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Any other doubts in this? Okay, and after the JSP calls, we are discussing the forward and send redirect, which we have already did an example in the servlet code, if you people remember, right? So when we were sending it to and forwarding it to the next page, right? We were using the forward so that the server actually knows about. Okay, let me just open the example. I think we already discussed this during servlet, and let me just take you through it one more time. So, it's a forward, and we're doing a send redirect. Both navigate the control or forwards to a different page. So, what is the difference between it? When we're doing a request dispatcher, right? So, whatever the attributes that we set it, or it's part of the request, and later it could be used in the page. And the forward, when we do a forward using the request dispatcher, the server is doing it. Like, it's not happening at the browser side. It's the server internally forwarding the request. But when we are doing a send redirect, it's the browser side. A new request goes from the browser. So the send redirect method is part of a response. So this method is used to redirect the client request to some other location. So it's happening at the client side. But when we say forward, it's part of a request dispatcher interface. You see it, we're creating a request dispatcher, right? And we call the forward on the request dispatch object. So this method is used to pass the request to another resource for further processing on the same server. The different server, it could be a servlet or it could be a JSP page. It's part of the same server. But when you're saying send redirect here, right? I can say anything. Part of a different domain also. The request dispatcher forward is a request that's sent to another resource within the same server. So this is the syntax on how to do it. And I think we already did it as part of the service project. We have a request dispatcher and we're just forwarding it. But the send redirect is on a response. What is it? It's a HTTP server response of. So this is happening at the client side. And the server itself, it's more of the role of a server. Excuse me. It's more the role of the server during the forward. That is the difference between a forward and send redirect. Any doubts in this?
Can you just repeat the send redirect one? I got confused sort of.
So when we say send redirect, right, it redirects to a different client request. When I say send redirect, the browser is sending a request to get that specific error or JSP. But here, the browser doesn't do it. Even the URL doesn't change. The browser doesn't know about, the browser is not doing it at least. It's internally forwarded by the server. It's internally taken care. The request is being passed to another resource on the server. But when you are doing a send redirect, it's just one more client request that it is making. And it could be anything. It need not be some resource on the server itself, on the same server. You can do a cross-domain call also, so something on a different server as well, using send redirect. You got it?
Yeah.
Saroj, we have already executed this one during servlets when we are doing servlets. Do you remember? We were trying to create a user, Saroj. Yeah, so I mean, from the perspective of the from the user, we don't in the content whether do a forward or the send redirect, we'll be seeing the same thing. If I do send redirect of error.jsp or forward of error.jsp, I see the same thing. But how it's happening internally is it a client role or a server role? Yes, let's say in our website, we say if you have any questions, search in google.com. We can have it google.com by using send redirect. We can do a cross-domain call.
Isn't that redirect thing a server-side thing? Like server redirects you to the different page.
Send redirect, you say?
Yes.
No, send redirect happens at the client side.
Okay, you have changed that as a continue. You've given a href there.
Given? See, send redirect happens more at the client side. It's like, it makes the browser itself has a different request for you to take on. But the forward, it happens in the server side. The server internally tries to, pass the control, let's say, to another resource on the server. It could be a different JSP page or it could be a different servlet.
Okay. I get it.
Okay, cool. Folks, I have emailed you the servlet project. Everyone got it? Just send me a test email, just in subject saying servlet project if someone hasn't got it. I remember sending the servlet yesterday or today morning. I have emailed the servlet project.
Hello.
Yes?
Hello. Neha, I have not yet received it. Rajesh here.
Really? Okay. Folks, everyone else received it?
Yeah, I received.
Okay, Rajesh, I'm very sorry for that. And I'm sure. Okay. Just paste your email here, Rajesh. I'm very sorry for that. I'll email you right after the class.
Could you please include me in a group where you send it? I need not to write again.
Actually, I don't touch that list. Usually, whoever enrolled, they try to add it. So I'll just send it to you, and it will be taken care. I'll just add you to the list. So, folks, we were discussing about overall tag lists, right? Now we have a JSP tag, which are like the JSP standard tag library. So these are different tags than the tags that are provided by the JSP. So in JSPL, we have different kind of tags. We have the core tags, formatting tags, SQL tags, XML and JSPL functions. So each tag has a different URI. So let's say if I'm going to use some core tags like cout, cset, or choose, all these tags, I have to have this taglet in my JSP page. So in the JSP page, we have to include those specific tags using the taglet directory. So let's say if I have if I'm going to use some core tags, you see here, this is how we have to include in our JSP page. So we use the taglet directive that we have discussed yesterday. We specify the URI. The JSP core tag, that is the URI, and we give a prefix for it. as we already discussed, this prefix can be changed, but we follow the notation that's used across. So for code tags, it's C, and let's say for format tags, it's FMC. You can change it, but usually we don't. But if I specify here as Rahul, so instead of C:set, I'll be using Rahul::set, Rahul::out. You can keep your name also, but when we are coding, we use the specific standards that's followed across for the usage of these tags. So we have to include the specific tag libs by using the tag lib directives. So if you want to use any custom tag libraries, we have to include them in our JSP page using the tag lib directive. So we have to learn tag one by one to understand what each tag does, right? So let's go through, tag. Saroj, we have to go through each and every tag and know the functionality of it. When we include, right, we don't know the functionality of it. So we have to go and see or use each and every tag to see the functionality of it. So when we have C::out tag, it prints the value of that specific expression. It's just like using an expression tag, expression triplet. When we specify an expression, it gets the value of it and it prints it. And we have the C::set tag to set the result of an expression or any value. We can directly make it. I know this is a variable. You can use this variable again, which renders the value that is specified in this variable. So let's say here, what am I doing? I made a variable test with the value of this. I'm using C::set to set the variable with this specific value, right? So I'm setting it. So at a later point of time, I'm just printing it using C::out. So what is C::out is used for just it's like getting the value of that expression. So whatever is present inside the value, it just writes to the JSP. So let's go to the see here. This is printing the value in the test variable, which is JSTL core tag, right? It's getting printed. It's printing JSTL core tag. So see, when you have using a certain tag lib, it's not that you go ahead and mug up about all the tags, but we get to know about the tags as we go and use them. But there are some tags which are used every now and then, like out, set, all these things. So in any tag lib, we have to learn the tags one by one by doing some examples, and of course with practice. So we have the C::remove. It removes the scope variable. Let's say we have already created a variable with salary. We can remove the variable from the scope using C::remove. And we have the C::catch to catch any exception. Like, it catches not only exceptions, any throwable, right? So if you say C::catch and specify a variable, if an exception occurs in between this C::catch, right? That exception details will be available as part of the variable. Let's say, so here I'm doing some, something in this C::catch. If an exception occurs, that will be available as part of the exception variable. And we have the C::if, which does the same functionality like this. It gets executed, inside, if the test that we are making is to true, let's say here we're doing salary is greater than 2,000. If it is true, the contents or, inside the if that gets executed. It's a simple conditional tag which evaluates its body if the condition is true. So if it is not true, nothing gets rendered in it. And we have C colon choose to have like a multiple condition, like, and we can have any number of when. So when this condition matches, do this. When is nested inside is choose tag. The tag when is nested inside the choose tag. Here we are having a variable wait, right? We're setting a variable as it. We have a choose tag and we're saying when weight is equal to null, right? It prints weight is not provided for this product. Let's say weight is less than 0. It says incorrect weight. It's not 0 or negative. So when you say when weight is greater than 0, it prints weight of the product as so and so LV. Right? So this is how we use a choose tag. So saying weight of the product is 10 LV. Because the weight is 10, depending on the value of the weight, we have different conditions inside a choose tag. Like, the when tags are nested inside the choose tag. And we can have otherwise tags inside a choose tag, and whenever if none of the when tags runs, if all the when tags evaluates to false, like think of it as a switch case, right? If none matches, the default case gets executed. In the same way, when none matches, it's like the end. It will be at the end that gets executed if all the when tags evaluates to false. And we have a C colon import. The import tag from the URL that we specify, it gets and it exposes the content. So let's say I specify it, I'm putting it in a variable data. Let's say at a later point of time, I can use this variable to get the contents of the specific URL. If I want to, render some a different page in my content or a different website that returns it. It's not a JSON I'm including. I can include a URL so that I can directly get the contents of the URL and put it, right? We use the C colon import. And the very important and mostly used, of course, in conjunction with out or if, the C colon for each. The for each tag is used for iteration. Like let's say we have a list, we can iterate through the list using the for each tag. Any collection, can be iterated through using C colon for each. Let's say, and so let's say we have some, I'm sorry about all this, just concentrate on the C colon for each tag. We have a product list. It could be a list or it could be any collection, right? So we specify the items as this and we give variable name as product. So each time it gets into product, and if you want to display the product name, when you want to display, we use the C colon out, the value as product.name. So if it is a list of product objects, the product object should have a variable name. If it is null, like the default value gets rendered, but the C out displays the product name. For each tag is used to iterate through any collection. And we can render the values accordingly, whatever we wish to, using the C colon out. And if you don't have collection, also we can specify, right? Begin and, there are different tags that is for each support. The most used is for iteration through any collection. And we have the C colon for tokens. So if you have some comma separated values that are provided here as items, and there is a delimiter. Delimiter is basically like, using Word application, if you're using comma or hyphen anything, it iterates through the values and it gets it in the variable, in the mean, whatever is specified for the variable. So you can use within the variable. So instead of this names, I can have an integer called, like, for example, I have like an integer specified here. I mean, what it does, it passes it, so taking the details as comma, and it just prints it. So if the field, you will have it passes it, and it is just displaying, because we are using this C colon out to just display each number of that they get passed using the delimiter that is specified here. If I have like, separated by a dot or, separated by a hyphen, we have to specify the delimiter accordingly. And we have to see colon URL and parameters. It's part of it goes inside a C colon URL.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.